Good evening, everybody, and welcome to week 6 of Prospect eSports Showdown. Tonight, we will be seeing our Extreme Division with Apollo Paradox and We Say GG Go Next going head to head for week 6 this Friday night. Hope you're all doing well. Our first match of the day, our first map of the day, will be seeing Nepal. Lord Thefan is here with us today as my co-caster. How are you going today?
I'm doing really well, Athena. Thanks so much for asking. Hope everything is going well on your end as well. I'm really excited off the back of a brilliant series that I got to cast with Puma Strike uh, in the uh, uh, in the upper division. I'm really excited to see what these extreme teams have for us.
Yeah, obviously we're going to see hopefully some pretty high level play. That's not to say that we won't see some stuff ups. I'm absolutely certain we will. When you have two higher ranked teams going up against each other, it can get a little bit tense amongst them, and egos flare. So we'll have to see what happens between these two teams. We have a team called We Say GG Go Next. I wonder if that tells us anything about their attitudes.
It probably does, and both of these teams, at least as I understand, having been kind of relatively new in the prospect esports scene, or maybe not the teams themselves, but definitely the players in them, this foray into playing with each other. I think definitely has its growing pains, and hopefully those have all been kind of exchanged out for some really good coordination, communication, as everyone watching here tonight, and you and I both know, really is what carries some of these high level games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in these high level games, more than anything, I mean, obviously mechanics are important, but you have to use teamwork. If you're not using the teamwork, it's just not going to work. Teamwork makes the dream work, they say, and that's for sure, especially in these higher levels. It's usually not someone gets, it's not someone just randomly picking a widow. Their game sense is too good for that. So you've actually got to set up, kill boxes and all that sort of thing. So hopefully these teams will start to ready up here and we'll be able to get this show on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we are about to embark in our first map of this series, it'll be taking us to Nepal. Just a reminder for all those who are watching. For one, thanks so much for tuning in, and for two, be sure to cast your predictions now for this matchup. These two teams definitely, again, these high level players, really, in some of these fights that we're going to see, it's a matter of two cooldowns and an ultimate being used to either swing or decide a team fight. So I'm very excited to watch that, but that means that really any of these teams might come out on top. But we do have to acknowledge just the standings right now. We do have Apollo Paradox in as our number 3 seed with 5 games played. They've won 4, and it doesn't seem that they've lost any. They've got a map differential of 9, so I think that there might have been a forfeit there.
Hmm.
And then We Say GG Go Next is actually the number 4 seed with 3 wins and 2 losses over 5 games played, a map differential of 4. So especially as we embark into the next couple of weeks, that'll be our playoffs and our grand finals. We Say GG Go Next is likely looking to pad their map differential or secure another victory point.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, hopefully, they're going to try to increase their sort of stat there. Although I do know Apollo Paradox has had a little bit of a roster shift, so we'll have to see how these players do work with each other in this bit of, you know, um, obviously with the open divisions and all that sort of stuff being announced again, a new cup coming up. I think there's been quite a lot of shift amongst many teams at the moment. So it's exciting to see, the changes, and we'll just have to see how well they go. The teams are starting to ready up now, so this will be good to see. And of course, we do have that new patch has been released. Have you noticed any changes in upper division? Had they were things less or more effective? Have you noticed?
It's kind of funny actually to to see in some of these games, people are still looking to force Reinhardt and Zarya. I say force, although it's still definitely a very popular tank lineup. Baptiste has gotten changed, and actually, it looks like we're going to be going into Nepal here in just a few seconds. Baptiste has been changed, but by no means is he still not the most powerful support in the roster. We're still seeing lots of Baptiste and Lucio. We'll likely continue to see it as we embark into the first series. DPS, it's a little bit of a toss-up. You can run Rush to great success, but with those buffs to Orisa, to Sombra, I've been seeing a little bit more of those two heroes in particular in my games as well.
Alrighty, so we're starting on Village here. Not Village. Yes, Village, sorry. So we might see maybe this sort of more brawly style. We might see a little bit of Sim come out for, a little bit of point control. May's also effective here, but you can run it differently. You certainly can. Maybe a bit of Pharah. What do you predict will be run on here?
I'm sure that we're going to see probably some McCree and some Mei. Symmetra is also... Oh, and there we go, Kaijo on the Symmetra. Very popular just for getting the team to the objective first. And these brawly compositions, whoever can connect to the objective and really take the fight on their terms is normally the ones who have an advantage in terms of resources. Although, again, these high-level teams could go either way. That being said, here first, we say GG go next. They will have Kaijo on the Sombra, Salad on the Mei, Reality, and Rinka will be on Baptiste and Lucio Baptiste. Saranga and Care will be on the Rhine Diva. Should be exciting.
So TP comes straight out and they are going to persist with the Sims. So they're actually going to be looking for point control on the point, fighting on the point, playing that really strong brawl style. We first have Sim turrets get up there first, giving the team a huge advantage. So GG go next. Seems to be having a good thing. Maywall comes in, doesn't trap a Reinhardt or anything like that. Immortality comes out early, poorly placed, and this should really go the way of GG go next.
Oh, Shatter already coming up from Sarang.
Yeah, and I would say, that is an ego Shatter. Not necessary.
Yeah, GG. We say GG go next. I think securing the objective there, and then using that ultimate to just say this is our point, and we'll play on it. The next fight you take is one that is met on our terms. There, we do have some more ultimates coming up online. Kaijo with the Symmetra wall is going to be one to look out for, but keep an eye on Xiphon for this high noon. It's a battle of who can get that ult off first, the high noon or the sim wall.
Alright, Apollo now coming in from above, trying to maybe get a little bit of poke damage up from here. Not really sure. I mean, they're not taking long distance damage. Wall comes in to protect team from Dauntless's window here. Orion playing very aggressive immortality put out, destroyed almost immediately. Big swings from Saranghae onto their Diva, and the first picks were just taken by GG Go Next here. I think Apollo maybe didn't have a great sense of exactly what they were going to do, who they were going to focus, and so they were just, GG Go Next were just able to just bunker on point and just do whatever they wanted.
Well, it's just like I had projected onto GG Go Next is just, the next fight that is taken is one that's taken on their terms, and we see GG Go Next already rewarded for it with Saranghae 85% to a Shatter and Kara 93% to a Bomb.
And really what we want to see here is that Leokum has to isolate that Reinhardt, and he's not doing it. We've got swings coming in here. Again, a window from Rinkachichi, and that's all it's going to take. There's, Apollo here, they can't push on, they can't press any advantage here. I think this is going to be very, very much a 100-0. The ult advantage is still with GG Go Next. There seems to be little coordination. And so they're not even probably going to take a fight here. Bomb comes in from Care. It's thrown way, way, way away. Big immortality by Rinka here. Protects his Symmetra, who can just go and free farm on the point. Wall comes in to save, to prevent some of those players getting that beat from Reality. Calon here, isolating the baby Diva, taking him on. But we will see 100-0.
Yeah, a little bit of a caster's curse coming in there on your side, Athena. That prediction coming absolutely true in that matchup there between, we say GG Go Next and Apollo. Apollo, like you said, kind of not certain of the terms of the engagement. They were looking to take out that positioning over the high ground. They want to go there, but the bridge, it kind of obstructs the view of a potential high noon. Kaijo really didn't even need to use the wall in response to an ultimate as so much as just to fortify the objective. So, possibly some corrections from Apollo is just to, correct some of those terms of engagement. And we might see that with Xiphon now on the Tracer instead of Kree.
Yeah, so we should see with this Tracer a little bit more pressure maybe going on to Rinka here. He'll try to sort of harass him, make him use his shift and his immortalities a little more less carefully because he'll have to try to protect himself. Big Care here trying to obstruct the rest of the team here. Xiphon is attacking the immortality. That is a very strange immortality placement. It was ended up on the roof. Haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, a little bit strange.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going very much like in the favor of a Paradox this time. I think this Tracer here, just peppering from the sides and really focusing on Rinka here and getting this Reinhardt now. Yeah, Xiphon here, a bit low, not really getting the support he needs.
Yeah, and that's actually going to contribute to the swing of the fight there. And actually, I was looking at that saying Apollo was going to come out on top. They would be the ones first build percentage, but they end up losing it. The Shatter cast by Helen doesn't connect. It doesn't knock anyone down. And Care remeching now is 39% to a new bomb, has fortified the objective with presence, and this is going to force some movement on the side of Apollo.
Here we have Apollo is coming in from the left side here, just trying to make some advantage. Window comes out, doesn't really get much. A wall is used to save, Immortality comes out to save. Still no pick. Xiphon here, trying to just flank on the sides. Hellon is swinging, his shield is about to break. His team really needs to get a pick beforehand. Grab comes out, big stick by Xiphon, does take out enemy Reinhardt, but now Noon is out. Xiphon dodging effectively. Elikum, sorry, my bad, is just finishing off this fight, and this fight will go Paradox's way. We do have a little bit of an advantage coming up on the side of Paradox. They do have Beat, which is just such a big ultimate, because Cell's going to come in with his Mei ult here to try to catch people out, but if Pachi here uses his Beat right, they should be able to weather this storm.
Especially with how long that Blizzard Freeze effect lasts, and we're going to see that cast by Salad now. But Pachi goes down! Oh no!
Oh, that is a huge... No way! Hellon here has to do a life save. No, it's taken, it's gone. They have to reset. They just gave that point up very easily. I don't know if Pachi was throwing or whether, he just wasn't careful enough. Maybe he wasn't getting support, who knows, but it definitely worked out for Paradox. Care coming in here to sort of frustrate the Rhine. Big Shatter comes in from Hellon. They haven't got any picks yet with it. Pachi has used his beat. It hasn't really done much to help his team. There was no forward push there. It's not looking too good for them. It is really not looking too good. Alakum, he seems a bit passive. I haven't really seen anything from Alakum yet today.
Not so far, but we might be seeing something from Xiphon now armed with a pulse bomb, looking to connect with the objective here in the last few seconds.
Howard swapping to that Wrecking Ball, trying to attack this Kree with Xiphon. Xiphon getting him down to very, very low, changes target, does not finish him off, and Kyojo has been healed all the way. Watch that. Care being taken down by team. Xiphon does come up ahead, but I can't say that I'm overly impressed with the target focus there. Kaijo should have been dead way earlier, and we're going to see if that sort of thing is going to be a problem in future maps.
Well, and even if that isn't a problem here, especially in this next team fight, what will be is the fact that we don't have any resources to spare on the side of Apollo. Apollo, they've got no ultimates. They had to use everything just to retake that objective, and Reality armed with the sound barrier. Sarong here with another Shatter, the wall coming up. This might bode poorly for Apollo.
Big window comes out by Rinka, and Saranghae is just taking huge advantage of it. Xiphon coming in, trying to, save his team a bit. not able to. He'll just have to play for the contest here. He knows he's going to have to give up this point. Trying to protect his Moira, who is trying to just fade out. It's fortunately able to get their coalescence up and is going to pocket Zyton through this fight. Big Bomb comes out to dissuade a retake. Meaning Zyphon is separated from support and dies. Pudgy here trying just to keep that contest up, trying to disrupt the Baptiste from being able to heal his team properly. Rinka Chichi goes down. That's a very big pick. Taj is down now. This is just drops here, drops there, drops everywhere. Big freeze coming out there by Salad, which I think will just probably solidify this fight. They're not able to really be able to regroup, but big slam comes in by Halon. Alakoum is now on the Doom Fist. That's a bit of a could be big. He's able to do a little bit of damage there. He does get taken out by Lucio, but now it's just Lucio versus 1, 2, 3, 4 people on point. Just Saranghae trying and failing. He wasn't able to get onto point. Yeah, so there you have it. So that was a big stagger. Big swap actually from Paradox. I think they looked a lot more comfortable in that sort of dive-esque style. Just from that small little tidbit that we got there.
Yeah, and I'm hoping, Athena, I'm hoping that they actually do commit to that. Tajiru and Helen just looking so much more comfortable, like you said, on the dive heroes. One thing that I was thinking as the match wore on was just, Dauntless with these immortality fields. I'm not one to complain, as my Baptiste is not the best, and playing in Bab Jail isn't fun anyways, but it's a cooldown, not an ult. Using it to say Pachi when we needed to beat the Blizzard would have been really so important there, and I think swapping onto the Moira for last second, the 2 picks with the Coalescence was actually ended up being really good. Unfortunately, we won't see that. Helen stays on the Rhine and Tanjiro on the Zarya, so they are running a rush brawl composition.
These walls, I feel like, I don't know, is Alakoum actually like a tank player? Because these walls, I haven't seen one catch with any wall that's come by Alakoum yet. They really need to get the full value out of these walls. Kaijo here, just being able to keep the Rhine shield of Halon down. He's not able to make strong advances, and that just means that their rotations are slower. Salad here taking these long distance shots, setting up that crossfire, and it's being very punishing. However, some big picks from Zyphon and Alakoum onto GG's players, meaning that we should see Apollo Paradox just come out ahead here. That surprises me a little bit. Maybe this is a case of, Brawl is stronger than a poke comp, because of course GG Go Next have opted for that spam poke comp,
Yeah, with Salad on the Ash and Kaijo on the Junkrat, that's definitely going to be enough to wear down the defensive resources of Apollo. But the pathing might favor We Say GG as they wrap around towards the side that
Big Bob coming in from Salad here, trying to just disrupt and break it up. Window comes out by Rinka Chichi. This should go the way of GG Go Next. Bob gets a pick onto Pachi, which is, as we know, a massive pick because he's on 99% of his beat. That will save the fight here. Picks coming out by Care and Kaijo. Tajiro trying to take advantage of this late blizzard coming in by Alakoum, but it's just too much presence. It would have been better for Alakoum there to keep his freeze up.
We do have a massive stall coming in from Pachi, finally picked out of the fight, and the point will flip in the favor of We Say GG. Those resources being spent, and it doesn't yield a net positive, a 1 fight, but it does get out some important cooldowns. Kaijo have to use the tire, which the tire is basically a free win condition for the side of We Say GG, and he had to use it just for the sake of capturing the objective. So, if I'm Apollo, I don't feel too bad about that, but we do need a quick retake of this objective as it is inching back up to 100%.
Alrighty, so we have another window coming out by Rinka. He's getting them as frequently as you get your immortality at this rate. That was just a no-win situation there for Apollo there. Apollo is also down on the ult the ult advantage too. We have 3 ultimates ready for GG Go Next, and just one little window for Dauntless on Apollo. So we should see here Shatter and Bob come out. Yep, here comes Bob straight away, throwing him behind the rest of the team. Howland then goes for a crazy pin, just leaving any protection for his team, and I think they were just hoping for a quick fight. They wanted to die quick. They knew those ults came out, but they got away with just using Bob. That is huge. To be able to go into a fight and only use one ultimate is nuts. It's insane. So Sarange and Kaijo here. Kaijo comes out early with his tire, doesn't get anyone, but so it does provide that opening for the rest of his team to just clean up. Sell it here, just uncontested and just free to take fights, take free picks across from far, and it goes the way of GG Go Next.
Yeah, they're gonna win this series. They're gonna win this map. Start building some momentum into this series. Really well played on their side. However, we do have Tanjiro out here with play of the game. A massive grab, enabling the team to really swing this objective here. 45% in building, and it ends up being canceled by a combination of the grab and blizzard, which was the win condition for the third round there in Sanctum, but just didn't end up playing off that way. We ended up, for Apollo, we ended up spending way too many resources just to hold the objective, and as you're calling out the ultimate advantage favoring we say GG, going to that second, or that last 1.5 team fights, they set themselves up for that. They set themselves up for that disadvantage by just using all of those cooldowns, all of those resources, and just not netting the maximum potential value from them. So big corrections that we need to see from Apollo Paradox, but that doesn't mean that we say GG played perfectly either. That being said, lots of things to look for from both these teams as we embark into our next map.
Yeah, so Apollo Paradox, having lost that first map, will now get a choice of map here. So we'll have to see. It'll be an assault map for this one, which I believe this week was going to be Hanamura selected by Apollo. They wasted no time. They were like, no way are we doing the other one.
I like watching Temple of Anubis, but Hanamura is definitely a little bit more player-friendly, I think.
Yeah, I think Hanamura certainly is player-friendly, especially sort of on that first point. There's a few different sort of ways that you can go and sort of take it. Second point can get a little bit iffy. It really relies strongly on rotations. We'll have to see what they bring out here. I think we'll see more brawl. We may see sim strats come into play. But on defense, you're still probably going to see that Reinhardt, but we may see a little bit more pokey, whereas I expect the attack to be a little bit more brawly.
Yeah, and especially on Hanamura, with all that open space on the first and on the second objective, the throws of high ground that border the three sides of the objective for point B on Hanamura, there's a lot of different poke heroes who can benefit from that. I myself have, albeit in middle tier, but run Orisa to some good success. I've seen some really good Orisa variant rush style compositions played as well, where you substitute her in for a D.Va or a Zarya, and that might be viable, especially with these buffs that went through for her. Halt going from 8 to 6 seconds. Definitely a lot of opportunities to set up some big plays there.
Yeah, there's absolutely plenty of opportunities for that. Goodness, we'll have to see what happens here. What do you think Paradox has to do here to really make up the difference in that first map that we had?
I think that at one point you called out the target prioritization, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, Athena. There was a moment in round two of of Nepal, where everyone was kind of engaged in their own fights. Yeah, just kind of playing their own game. And Overwatch isn't that kind of game, especially at this level. It's a team-based game. You have resources and cooldowns that have to be managed, and they have to be managed with care for your team and against the enemy team. Definitely winning those engagements, those 1v1 duels or those 2v3 matchups is not a bad thing if it works out for your team. But we really saw it end up killing Apollo as they engaged in those kinds of engagements in Sanctum in our third round. And so I'm looking for a little bit more target prioritization, a little bit more clear communication as far as the efficacy of ultimates, the ones that we can spare in team fights where they're guaranteed value. But outside of that, I think that they can start clearing this series. I think that they can start taking maps away from We Say GG and really build momentum for themselves.
All right, looks like we're starting now. So we're going to see We Say GG. They've chosen to start on defense. Winners do get to choose where on the next map whether they're going to start on attack or defense. They've chosen defense, which of course, as we know, is a very, very common choice to do. You get to sort of set, I think, a lot of the speed of the actual map as a whole for both sides, for both defense and attack, by taking defense first. So yeah, we'll have to see what they pull out here. I expect to see Rinka probably stuck on Baptiste for the majority of this.
Baptiste jail.
Baptiste jail. And Lucio jail, but I guess Lucio's at least a little more fun. That said, back in GOAT's meta, I was the main support, and I did not play Lucio for a clear 12 months after GOATs. I was just over it, and now we're back into this brawly thing, and I've had to start picking it up again. And I've realised I'm a big, massive feeder, and nobody should pick me up as Lucio on their team ever.
Well, I love that you mentioned the GOAT's composition, because, Athena, that's exactly what the Rush composition reminds me of. It's a composition in which there is an order of operations to be filled. You don't just whip your cooldowns, throw them onto the field, and hope that they'll give value. That's what Platinum players playing Rush comp do. This is the highest echelon of competitive ladder, playing the Rush composition. This is order.
Team TP has come out. Sorry, we better start talking about the actual match here. We could talk about compositions all day, you and I. But we do have some Symmetra coming in. She hasn't been able to get big charge yet. She's actually not doing... Is she memeing? Is she literally just standing there? What on earth? I am so confused. Yeah, but anyway, Care is... Tajuru here has had to retreat from the point, and it has decided to come and take that high ground and fly away, keeping their mech so that they can't get staggered. Of course, it's not all bad news if you get staggered these days, as D.Va with this new patch note coming in, going from a 50 drop damage from the mech to a 250, so don't be a squishy standing close to a baby D.Va. You might get squashed. Another TP coming in. Sarange trying to turn around to be able to get a big shadow on, but big Mei wall comes in from Alakum, playing that defensive Mei style again. Big pick coming out from Salad with a massive, massive dynamite. Big way of being able to just shut down this attack. So although in this fight they were able to get, I think, one, maybe two picks from Apollo onto GG Go Next, it didn't eventuate due to a massive, massive dynamite from Salad.
Yeah, a perfect use of the amplification matrix cast by Rinka Chichi, and we've seen really good amp matrix casts from them this series as well. Armed with the beat from Reality, the damage mitigation on the objective, I think is actually going to be really good this fight. It's going to favor We Say GG Go Next as they engage onto this upper high ground here.
Yeah, taking this rotation over the high ground, Halon here is trying to beat... he's trying to take that advantage away of that Mei wall. And look, it seems to be working here. We do have Zyphon here doing, Symmetra things and just beaming people. It's pretty sad. It's such a, if she can get her left click onto someone and their tracking is good, like how fast you can melt somebody is ridiculous.
Well, that and players are still clamoring for group freeze to be removed from the game after it got added. Goodness, I think it was during or just after GOAT's era Overwatch, and that has remained just a persistent annoyance to players here. We see a course correction from the side of Apollo as they look to engage from the high ground. I think they were looking for meme teleport strats, but they're going to offer this one on the middle high ground, I think.
Yeah. Going for this middle high ground teleporter, Zyphon enters last, doesn't enter at all. Maybe he heard that Diva bomb coming in. So that's just broken their very, very first attack. Now, being point B, we know that teams can get a little bit stuck, get a little bit staggered. If you take one pick as the attacker here, because of the spawn advantage, you cannot proceed with your attack, and so you have to go and reset every time.
Yeah, fighting that man disadvantage on attack on 2CP or the assault game mode, it's so difficult, and so it is easier to just back up, regroup, get your bearings, and go back in, and that's exactly what we'll see from Apollo.
Yeah, taking this high ground, but the sort of the lower one, they're looking for another TP to the same place. Immortality comes out, does protect them, and they're able to get the first pick onto Salad. Alakoom comes in with his May ult, and they're just doing this massive ult push here. Care trying desperately to be able to stay alive and protect his team with his defense matrix, but it's not going to be enough. Zyphon's he's on level 3 charge here, and he is just melting. Did you see how quick that baby diva went down? Oh my goodness, this should be a pretty nice take here by Zyphon. He hasn't put up his turrets, which is a bit of a surprise, but I guess he doesn't need to because he's just lasering everyone. That's a very, very nice second point take there by Apollo. I would have thought that, going for that high ground again, that same location, you would expect, GG Go Next to be able to adapt a little bit better, to expect it almost, but I guess they threw them off by taking that high ground first.
Well, I thought that it boded poorly as well for Apollo. They rotated, as you could see on the spectator cam, from one side of the amp matrix to another. The amp matrix cast by Rinkachichi, which we've seen get persistent value this series so far. But ultimately, you saw Care on the Diva go in and try and eat the blizzard that was cast by Alakoom and just barely miss. So now you've got micro missiles that can't be used by the amp matrix. You had Lubada jump over to the high ground to try and get a double tap onto one of the squishy heroes, and so they had to yield control over the amplification matrix to get onto that high ground, and so ultimately it just doesn't end up netting the value that I think it had been originally cast for. Really good rotation from Apollo, especially considering the fact that I didn't think that they were going to stay on this Symmetra pick, and they really made it work. You caught out Zyphon just microwaving the mid lines of We Say GG Go Next, and it was a spectacle.
Yeah, it was an absolute spectacle, and they just weren't able to, at no point did Paradox there sort of say, okay, look, they're going to get some ticks, let's do a mini reset and a partial reset, and then just try and defend that third tick. They just kind of went on and went on and went on, and of course, you're taking 1 into 6, for 5 fights in a row. We do have Salad here with the Symmetra this time, TPing up to the left side straight away. I think that does take Apollo Paradox by surprise, with Zyphon being taken down first, Helen swinging onto the other Ryan, and Alakoom here just sort of trying to sort of space hold a bit here with his spam damage, but Care on the Diva is being able to shut down a lot of that. Levada also on the Junkrat here, just sort of doing some spam damage. He's going to take out Helon's shield, and shortly thereafter, Helon himself dies. So this was a nice, fresh, pretty clean take. Perhaps a little bit slow. They definitely played it a little slower. Zyphon here trying to just get a few extra seconds on the clock. Don't really know how, whether this is worth it. If he's just going to give GG Go Next here more ult charge.
Tasha, I think, was contesting the objective to see if they could get out a mech kill or two, maybe. Wasn't quite able to find it, as the point does yield to We Say GG Go Next. 5.5 minutes remaining in the time bank. Athena, you and I both remember the misery of playing 7-minute point
yes,
B.
Absolutely we do. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad they have made these changes to the assault maps. Big wall coming in by Salad really early on. They were able to get so many ults on that first point. I really just see GG Go Next just being able to steamroll this. Hellon's Shatter just doesn't get anything. Care comes out with a Diva Bomb that just finishes Hellon off. Tyre coming in from Libata just to finish the rest of the thing off. I mean, Tajaru here trying to get something to do with the bomb, but it's not going to do anything. Alagoon dies. Yeah, it's like... I think it was actually an error for Paradox to try and stall out that first point so much, because they just gave them so many ults. By the end of that fight on point B, they'd had every single ult ready. So like on the point A thing, I think they had 3 and they had 2 others up at 80%. You know, so they just gave the ult advantage straight to GG Go Next. Because their team was alive for most of the time, they were able to get a lot of free ult charge. And Paradox is having lost Siphon so early, they should have like triggered and been like, okay, we just have to lose this fight. Because if you don't, you could see with that sim wall coming in, the long range sort of pokey style that they had with Xiphon, and then on the Mei with her right clicks, and then Alakum with the junk spam, couldn't do anything, you know, because that wall was just blocking all their damage.
And that's where we really got to observe some of these high echelon teams, where you know they control the pace of the game with their ultimate abilities. It's sometimes it's even their cooldowns as well. You know, again, I refer back to Nepal, where I said the next fight they take is the fight on We Say GG Go Next terms, and that's exactly what GG Go Next wanted for that point B attack. And so now we're gonna have Apollo on the attack. Only 2 minutes in the time bank to work with, but that's more than enough time to capture point A and maybe even score some percentage on
yeah, you can get point B on that. You can, with this amount of time bank, you can capture point B with, like, it'll be under a minute, but you might actually get some time, which then enables you to go for a third attack round if need be. Labata gets picked first. Xiphon and Alakum working and sort of doing a bit of a pincer thing. Xiphon setting up a very, very high charge here, and he should be able to really melt down the Reinhardt here. Melting down Baptiste, the Xiphon's being able to just be insufferable. I mean, really, when you're being lasered by this Symmetra, it is just insufferable. I hate it with a passion, you know? So they've taken this first fight really cleanly. They're coming up on 3 ultimates, having Alakum's Tyre and Dauntless with his Baptiste ultimate with that big giant plasma TV. I think, you know, I mean, I'd love a TV that size, if you ask me. But anyway, I'd love that. So Alakum here, we should see him go for an early Tyre to sort of try and break up the team. Sim TP comes out, distracting the rest of the team. Oh, Labata gets a nice shot onto that Tyre, which is going to work very nicely in their favour. But picks are coming out. Polo East Paradox onto GG Go Next, and it looks very comfortably like they're going to take this. Already at 2.5 ticks. Xiphon here just trying to delete this Bob, who's been used very, very well for it. Ryan charges the Bob off point, which is so helpful for taking this percentage. They don't have to focus on him so much. Ball stagger, they're just trying to get onto that overtime, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. Ty comes out from Labata onto Alakum. Rinka Chi-Chi using a window all for himself, and he is just getting a lot of that spam damage, and they're actually going to hold this. So now there is absolutely no chance for you know, Paradox here to get this with time. Can they get a touch? Can Pachi here come in and touch? I'm sure he can. Whether or not he's going to die instantaneously, that's probably very high. Alakum is actually the one who has to go and touch. Pachi will have to be the one to go next, but Dauntless has been picked, which takes away most of the healing from their team. Alakum is just trying on Tracer to shut down the DPS of GG Go Next, having some success. Bomb comes out by Care, takes out Tajaru, making this a 5v6, a 4v6 now, 4v5. Paradox is really trying so hard here. Zyphon is just trying to get like some angles on where he can still be protected but still use his beam, which you can't really do because it's LOS, you know. So they're actually not going to cap, but they do get 93.5%.
That's a good amount of objective progress to work with, Athena, especially in a game mode as difficult as the Assault game mode for Overwatch, which for a lot of us watching out there know is going away for Overwatch 2. Praise Jeff, or I guess it's Aaron Keller now, if you've heard the bad news about Jeff Kaplan's departure from Activision Blizzard. I know he's gone, but it's just a really good hold, really good swing of the fight by the use of two ultimates in particular. I want to highlight the Amplification Matrix cast by Rinkachichi and the tire that was thrown by Libata. It was just highly influential, and again, I call the tire a free win condition because it really is. It's fast moving. It disorients the team, right? You hear the tire, and you just for us support mains, we panic because
you absolutely do.
Yeah.
But you know, I think one of the most important things as Junkrat is you have to really think very carefully about the pathing of your junk tire on that first attack by Alakum. You could see he took his tire through a hallway, which is an absolutely terrible idea, because if the other team has a Junkrat, it can be shot before it even comes into LOS. So I feel like he didn't quite think about the pathing in relation to the composition that the other team was playing. So that was a bit of a shame. Here, what Paradox really want to do is they want to make this first point be taken with ultimates by GG Go Next here. They don't want to be able to, they don't want to give, they really don't want to give GG Go Next the opportunity to take it dry. Zyphon is picked first, which is just bad news, and they have to get a pick on the side of Paradox here to be able to defend this point, but that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Reality getting two massive boosts. Sorana and Reality working together as a team. In that way, this comp is so much like GOATS, where you have that main support and that main tank. I feel like in this sort of composition, that is the most important element of synergy for your team. You've got to have that coordination synergy between your main tank and your main support.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and we're probably going to see that on display as they push to the second objective with 3:45 in the time bank to spare. That's lots of time as they teleport onto the high ground above the point.
Yeah, so another teleport above the point. They get a positional advantage. They are trying to take that. Kay was just trying to take that high ground off Zyphon, but he was able to push her off. But Reality has come to the rescue and just taken away that very devastating high ground. I think here, it just seems like GG Go Next here has just a greater understanding of sort of game sense and what are the important places to hold, you know? Who are the important picks to get?
Yeah, we're seeing that put on display as the window comes up. The amplification matrix from Dauntless completely nullified by the presence of the wall there.
Yeah, absolutely. They just are able to shut Dauntless down here. Dauntless, I would say, look, his Baptiste isn't bad, or her Baptiste, I'm not sure. But they're just not able to really be able to take advantage because that wall comes out. It's actually such a good ult, especially on these sort of contests, on these 2 CP points, where you're trying to stave off an attack from one direction, you know?
Yeah, and with the frequency with which it's deployed, the speed at which it's built, it's a very powerful ultimate with really high swing potential. Speaking of swing potential, here we see Reality. I think with a double or triple environmental elimination. I think it's a double. Yeah, sends Helen off to the gardens, and Alakum follows quickly afterwards. Actually, that's a triple. Tanjiro goes off as well. So just a spectacular performance on Lucio from Reality today. Definitely teaching me a thing or two about how to play our favorite DJ.
Yeah. Yeah, reality has been very impressive, I think. On that, I think we're taking a break now for half time. So we'll see you guys very shortly. Welcome back to this extreme division map between Apollo, Paradox, and We Say GG Go Next. As you can see up on the on the scoreboard, GG Go Next is 2 ahead of Paradox in this best first to 3 tournament. Today, though, we've got something very exciting and interesting to tell you guys. We're teaming up with Hammer Down eSports tonight, and we're going to host them after this stream. They're running a 24-hour charity event with the organized chaos right now. And this charity event is to raise autism awareness. Autism, we want to support those who live with autism, who have struggles every day in a world the rest of us take for granted. Obviously, there's some different challenges that we just take for granted that people who have autism don't. So we really want to raise awareness. And we really want to support self-advocacy for these wonderful people that show strength that we should all be aware of and be in awe of. I think a lot of the time, people want to do stuff for people when the people just want to be able to do stuff for themselves. So we really want to promote and support self-advocacy for them. And the charity that has been chosen by Hammer Down eSports supports a charity called ASAN, which really focuses on self-advocacy for autistic individuals. So, get on board, stay around, hang around after our stream, and join in and participate in this charity event run by Hammer Down eSports.
Well spoken, Athena, and absolutely. You're gonna want to stay. You're gonna want to stay on the channel because we'll be once we finish up this series, we'll be heading over to Hammer Down Esports. Should be some more fun Overwatch played in a really good cause as well. We care about the game, we care about playing it, we care about watching it, but we should also delegate some of that care to our communities as well. Absolutely. Stick around so that we can support the people who do good work. Be a part of that. Be a part of that opportunity. That being said, we'll be getting back into our series, the matchup between Apollo Paradox and We Say GG Go Next here very shortly, heading into our next map. It's going to be Eichenwald and Athena. I'm very excited. I think that this is an opportunity for Apollo, who is down the series by 2 points, to start swinging this matchup.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that for Hybrid that they have chosen Eichenwald instead of King's Row. I think, with Eichenwald, you definitely get a lot more opportunity to play different compositions. Certainly, that brawly style is much harder to play on the second point in particular, where you have the high ground from the castle, I don't know, maybe that's more like a fort because the castle's later on. What would you call that middle building of death?
Oh yeah, no, I call it the high ground, or I call it the castle.
Just call it,
Sometimes the high ground.
I call it the castle. But when you think about it, the end part is the actual castle. I've only just noticed that, but we all refer to it as castle. I think it's more of a fort. Oh well, I think we're about to start, so we'll get this game started. I think Eichenwald instead of King's Row, you've got that, a lot of different options for play style. You can play the Pharah, you can play Sim, you can play May, you can play Bastion on the fence. You can do all sorts of crazy and wonderful things on this map. So I'll be very interested and excited to see what they come up with. Although I probably won't be that interested or excited because it'll probably just be Brawl again. But hey, it's still better than Goats, I guess.
Not by that great a margin as we've discussed, but definitely in these rush mirrors, it's some really interesting gameplay that we're seeing. Be sure to take this opportunity to drop your predictions of the outcome of this map in the Twitch chat there. Laura is on fire tonight with the predictions just coming out on top of each of these maps here. You're definitely going to want those bragging rights against your contemporaries there. And here we actually do see an interesting composition coming out from Apollo Paradox. The damage boosted Pharah, Xiphon on the Tracer. We do have Tajiro and Helen on the Rhine Diva. It makes sense. They're powerful. And Dauntless still in Baptiste jail.
Now, what's interesting here is that it's almost a mirror, except that on GG Go Next, we have the Kree instead of the Tracer. Now, honestly, on defense, I'm not sure the Tracer has a role, but maybe they're just playing Tracer because they have identified Rinkachichi as kind of carrying his team with his windows in Immortality, so maybe that's got to do with it. It's very interesting to see the Pharah battle sort of going on above. Xiphon on the Tracer does take out Labada on that Kree, which is just going to give an advantage to Alakum on the Pharah. So that's very good news. Alakum he's seeming to hold his rocket better and was getting a lot of damage, but he does get taken out. Helen here just trying to sort of shut down that choke point so that when Labada comes back, he can't just like walk in for free. Alakum has to come back from spawn just so it helps Saranghae and his crew come through this entry point a little more easily, but he's back now. It doesn't take too long for Pharah. A nice boot comes in by Alakum. Labada here playing in front of the Paradox window here. I'm actually not sure that the bad pick on defense here is that effective. Who is going to get value out of this window? Because they certainly didn't. They did not. Xiphon here just playing around the edges, trying to just be a real sort of pain and a nuisance. I think he's going to try and focus Labada a bit so that Alakum, when he comes back, gets a bit of a free attack, but they weren't able to do anything with that. In terms of old advantage, we have Care and Labada on GG Go Next with their ults, which don't really have a great deal of thing. They'll probably be used to create space more than anything else. But then Tajiro, Alakum, Xiphon, and Pachi all have their ultimates as well.
Yeah, and ultimate advantage, I can't say whether it favors one team or the other. At this point, it depends on who uses them best, and we're going to see those ult combos come out here on top of the castle. Helen booped off by the bomb.
He gets booped off, and he's down to 50 health, so he has been effectively taken out of the fight, but Alakum comes in to save the day with a nice barrage, does kill one, also gets rid of that pesky immortality, making them no longer invulnerable. Alakum probably needs to work a little bit more on these Pharah v Pharah fights. He gets a couple of direct shots, and Dauntless comes to assist and was able to kill Kaiju, and I think he was killed over the chasm, so there'll be no res for Kaiju today.
No, but Kaijo does have the ultimate, the barrage coming into next fight, Labada with the high noon, and Reality coming up very quickly on that next Valkyrie. Pachi still sitting on the Valkyrie of their own, so this next fight is going to be really interesting. Both sides with damage increase potential there from that Mercy.
Kaiju's taking quite a lot of damage. Dauntless and Alakum are certainly focusing him quite nicely. High noon comes out, it takes out Dauntless. I don't know why Dauntless was in a position to be taken out by a high noon from that far. Kaiju going for a somewhat foolish barrage, but is rewarded for it by being able to be res straight away. That's a bit unfortunate for Apollo Paradox here. But they're still getting a couple of picks. Xiphon is definitely performing very, very well here on the Tracer. I was thinking, is it going to be weaker against the Pharah having the Tracer? But no. They're putting that much pressure onto the Kree and onto Rinkachichi that the Mercy can't be with Pharah all the time. They have to play a little safer. So it's really affecting sort of the amount of space that GG Go Next is being able to take. And this is looking very nice for Apollo Paradox. They're a little bit in advantage in terms of ult percentage. No one has an ult up, just Saronghae at the moment. But they should be able to fuck all of these ults up quickly before that time that they're able to even use the ultimate.
Yeah, we do have a question in the chat. What rank are these guys? These players are actually pretty high caliber. We're looking at High Masters. You know, these are 4K teams that are duking it out right now.
Yeah, I believe GG Go Next does have quite a higher SR. I do believe they're around the 4.2 KSR, and then Apollo Paradox, which has taken over the original Apollo slot. They're playing at above, I guess, what they would normally play. I think they're a 3-7-3-8 team. So I think considering that, they're actually doing very, very well. The actual hold that they're doing on this second point is very impressive, really. And look, I really hope that they win this one because I think they've got every chance.
Yeah, and with We Say GG Go Next taking control of the cart here, it looks like Zyphon and Tajiro can really only stall it out, but we do have a minute in the time bank remaining, so they might be able to push, but it looks like there's going to be opportunity for one more fight here before this second capture.
Fight here, and they are coming in with an ult advantage too on the defense with Shatter, Barrage, Tracer ult, and Pachi's ult. Pachi uses his ult quick early, but focuses on his team instead of his Pharah and has to use the res on Pharah. Here, they have pretty much used their ult. Big picks by Alakum coming in, taking out two players there, taking out the Diva and taking out Creole with their ult. Ult's coming in now for GG Go Next, and they do take the point. That's a shame. I really think that could have been played a little better there. They certainly did have the ultimates to take the fight, but it didn't seem like there was a great deal of coordination of those ultimates.
Yeah, and in taking that the second objective with about a minute and a half remaining in the time bank is putting We Say GG Go Next in a good position to continue this momentum into the next fight.
Yeah, Bomb coming in here by Care to create space. Maybe was hoping to get a pick, but that's not always necessary. Kaijo here looking for a copy. Probably will try to copy Reinhardt. That tends to be quite like what they tend to select is in a composition like this, Reinhardt. Zyphon here is going to have to go and touch and stall with his ball here. Really just trying to just shut down the Baptiste and the DPS here. I think he's trying to pressure out that immortality. Having killed him, he should be able to just clean up shop. Might not even have to use his ult here. Very, very impressed with the way Zyphon's been going here. We're looking here at an overtime cap. I do not see GG Go Next being able to cap the time here. It's going to be overtime if they cap. There's still every chance here that Paradox can hold it. GG Go Next coming in with two ultimates almost online, Saronghae and Libadas. The Junkrat Tire and the Shatter. If Saronghae can get a big Shatter here, then yes, they should be able to cap. But if he doesn't, I don't see it happening unless a massive, massive bomb comes in. Big Shatter comes in by Saronghae as predicted, and now a Tire, and that should be a cap onto overtime for GG Go Next. After a little bit of stall attempt, I dare say that this is what we're going to see, as we do.
Yeah, no time remaining in the time bank for We Say GG Go Next, and a really good, if arduous hold from Apollo. You know, now the win condition for both teams is additional capture points. We Say GG Go Next is looking to hold the first, then the second, then the third objective, and Apollo, well, they're looking to take all 3 points, and ideally with more than a minute remaining, because that will give them one more attack round where they can only either draw or win.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really like Paradox here. I think they should be feeling like pretty good about themselves here. They did a really, really good hold here, and they actually have this opportunity to get the advantage onto GG Go Next here by capping with more time. So I would expect them to be picking like a more sort of aggressive comp that they're really able to win fights quickly with. So I don't think we're going to see like dive, because dive tends to be like you'll get your first couple of picks early, but then there's a little bit of going in, going out. You either, whereas they really don't want long fights. They want short, quick fights that they win quickly so they can maximize that time bank.
We might still be seeing a little bit of that, though, as Apollo opts for Helen on the Wrecking Ball. Maybe they'll stay true to that? Not
Ryan
sure.
Wrecking Ball. I don't know that I've seen that before. But, I mean, it's almost a dive comp, except that we have a Baptiste and a Reinhardt. I'm not convinced, I will say. I'm not convinced. So they're going to look for...
most of it.
They're going to look for disruption and, I guess, maximum damage output on Alakum here with pulse beams, I would say. Or whatever you call those little stickies. Tajiro is playing very aggressively here and just pinned in Saranghe, but that immortality coming out by Rinkachichi saved his life. That was an interesting play there by Zyphon, just trying to maybe stop that res with no success.
They have the pulse bomb for that too. I might have seen a good opportunity.
I would have stuck it, honestly. I would have stuck it. He would have gotten some good value out there, but his team wasn't able to really follow up on any excess damage, so I can see why he didn't. Duplication coming in by Alakum onto the Reinhardt, just sort of charging in there. Perhaps not the wisest idea with that other window coming out in response to Dauntless's window. Zyphon here, look, I think he takes too long to use his bomb, his little sticky pulse bomb, because that thing comes up so quick if you're even half decent at Tracer. So I feel like, it wasn't necessarily ideal. Now, GG Go Next have had 2 late sort of picks taken out there. So this does give Paradox a bit of an advantage for this attack. They'll want to get in there nice and quick. Of course, they are, big shatter by Tajiro here. Immortality coming in to save his life. Pachi was not in the Immortality and gets taken out by High Noon. Got to be careful about that positioning, Pachi.
Tajiro sandwich between the fake Reinhardt and the real one for We Say GG Go Next. Kaijo doing more than just fulfilling their role on the Echo there, and a couple more ultimates coming up online as we begin to work into 1, 2, maybe 3 more team fights.
Yeah, it's looking more like 2, I would say, at this stage. So, especially since Paradox, they're not running Lucio, they're not running some fast comp. Helen has now switched to the Reinhardt with Tajiro on the D.Va. They decided the ball really kind of wasn't working how they expected it to. Nice 8 by Tajiro onto the fire strike. Zyphon just sort of filling in through the back. Again, trying Alakum here. Not really using his abilities in the way that you tend to see them. He probably could get a lot more value if he was doing his little stickies and then his beam afterwards. But, I guess it's all a learning if it's not a common hero for him. He swaps the D.Va, but doesn't really get anything from it. He does die as the D.Va, but of course he comes back with 100 health. Big picks by Alakum there onto the D.Va and onto Reality on that Mercy. So they will take this point, which is really good for them, but they took a really long time to do it.
Yeah, the first point capture is sacrificing time in the time bank, which is one of those vital resources to work with. Is it still favors Apollo. They still captured an objective, but now they're going to have to fight even harder as they're approaching the streets phase of these maps, and those are always so difficult to surpass.
Yeah, it's so rare for a team to be able to snowball this second point. It's really designed to be anti-snowball. Hopefully we'll see the new maps in Overwatch 2 take some learning out of Eichenwald for that. No one wants to snowball. Kaijo here, Shatter swapping to the Diva to just try to slow down Paradox. It was effective. Big Shatter coming out by Sarange here, resetting a number of the members of Paradox. So this is really starting to slow them down. And that is GG Goes Next. Like, biggest thing at the moment is to just slow down Paradox, and if they can slow them down enough, then they can actually do a nice big ult push at the end of third point to really like shut it down so that there's no way for them to get time, and they'll be able to just extinguish them with an ult push.
Yeah, and no May on the side of we say GG Go Next, but they're still freezing the forces of Apollo at the choke here. The payload not really advancing far past the portcullis of after the first point of Eichenwald, and now re-engagement coming in from them. But how is this going to play out?
Yeah, this is certainly the hardest part on attack for this whole map. If you can't if you're not able to get to that thing, but a nice Shatter comes out, and Alakum and Tajiro cleaning up on it. That got picked, but Pudgy has res Dauntless for the next fight, so they're on 6. They're getting a couple of little staggery kills, like onto Reality. Reality doesn't have his Lucio ult yet. He has only just swatched to the Lucio recently, probably making sure that he'll have the beat for third point in particular, although maybe he'll be able to sum it up sooner. But I think that's a very wise pick by Reality. The longer this map goes, the less value you get out of Mercy. Nice Shatter coming in by Sarange here. Sarange living on half health here, but starts to get pocketed. Actually helps move off Talon with assistance from Reality. I think, it's been lovely seeing, and that's it. That's all she wrote, GG Go Next wins 3-0 to Paradox. So look, I think that went the way I'd expect it to go based on the two teams that featured. But I think, Paradox had a really good go of it. And I think there's a lot of things they can take from this tournament map that they can learn for... that was funny to watch. Yeah, but you could certainly, take... I think they could take a lot out of this, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... You go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, they performed really well in the face of the adversity that that we say GG Go Next represented. They played true to the meta at times and deviated from the formula at others, and I think that we saw a semblance of value attained from Apollo. I think again just a little bit of a correction. I'd say Hanamura was definitely one of the highlights for me as far as their performance goes, but that's not to downplay just how well these players, even on an individual level, play. Again, they're high caliber players.
Yeah, they absolutely are high caliber players. It's always nice being able to cast for quality teams. It's really good to see the extra considerations that they take into account that you don't quite see so much in some of the lower divisions. So yeah, it is a treat to be able to learn off, some of the better players in the actual game, some of the best in the game. Saranghae, yeah. Well, no, you got to put in Rinka Chi-Chi too. Yeah.
And right now, going on in the chat, we have our poll going on for MVP. Be sure to cast your votes to select who you think was the most valuable player for the vectors of this series. We say GG. Go Next.
Mm-hmm.
And those nominees are Rinka Chi-Chi. That's going to be Kaijo and Saranghae, as well as I believe there's one more. And Reality, yeah, both of our support players being nominated for MVP. We're getting We're getting some GGs in the chat. Yeah, really, really well played by everyone this evening. Again, Apollo dropping all 3 maps to We Say GG Go Next, but again, not looking terribly in comparison. We saw really some really compelling signs of life from Apollo Paradox. For me, it was on Hanamura. I think as well we saw it a little bit on the defense for Eichenwald. Control point is usually going to play out one way or the other. So, not too much to be said about that. But again, We Say GG, their support lineup was, they played out of their minds. Kaijo delivered the damage. Libata supporting with that Junkrat burst damage potential. And of course, the Echo is so powerful as well. Saranghae leading the team to victory. The main tank of the team just everyone, I think, in my opinion, from what I saw, everyone had a really good game tonight.
Yeah. Well, I think we should actually get both of them in because I actually think that the two of them together had such good synergy. Perhaps we can talk to them about that because I think. Hello?
So, so
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Reality and Saranghae have equaled MVP, so I think we'll get both MVP candidates in here because I think that is actually such a reflection of how We Say GG won. So we'll just get those two into the channel and have a chat.
And then I believe we'll have a poll going up as well here in a moment for MVP for Apollo Paradox as well. Again, I could easily nominate any one of those players. All of them played really, really well. So that poll will be going up shortly. Be sure to cast your votes for MVP of Apollo Paradox, as they are not to be ignored by any means.
Yeah, absolutely not. They definitely put up a really good contest considering the SR difference. I mean, that was, I think, about a 500 SR difference between the two teams. So very well done on Paradox. We have Saranghae and Reality in now. Congratulations on your win, guys. Win, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, tell me, have you two been playing this game together for a while, or are you kind of like this is your first team together?
This, with both of us consecutively, this has been our first team together. But while on this team, we've been on this team for maybe 3-4 months now.
Yeah, we've been on it for a bit. Yeah, we've been here for a bit.
So we've been really grinding out our synergy.
Yeah, that's really good because that was definitely very notable that your synergy as main support and main tank was very strong. Kind of like I said, it was kind of like GOAT strong when that used to be like you had to be really in cahoots there. In the current meta, I think probably the most important thing in this sort of brawl is that that synergy between main tank and main support. So yeah, we're really impressed with that. So what can you say is the reason for your strong synergy? Is it just getting used to each other, or is there a particular, I guess, trick to it?
I think that I think that we hate each other so much. We're trying to outplay each other to the point where we are just so too good together. And we hate it.
Yeah, I can verify that. We constantly like trash talk each other. We're very toxic to each other. But I mean, in games, we're just trying to play around each other. Want to play better than each other, so we synergize.
So you actually think a bit of competition between your main support and your main tank is actually like conducive to synergy?
Oh,
I think that in general for a team, it's useful.
Very, because if you constantly try to be better than your teammates, then you're gonna constantly just try to perform to your best ability.
Now, how does that differ from team play in Overwatch? It's very, very different from the solo queue ranked environment. Would you say that you carry this kind of mentality into your solo queue games, or is this really just exclusive to the team setting?
Go ahead and answer this one. Stern.
In comp, I just assume that I'm playing with 5 AIs when I'm in comp.
Yes,
I don't assume they're actual people unless I'm doing with someone. And then, maybe I'll ask. I might ask, hey, can you speed me? I just try and do as much as I can. Like on Ryan, instead of going for 4 people, I might just literally solo shatter one and pin them into a wall and die. Like I don't really think about competing with the players because I just think of them as AI. They're not actual people.
That's a great way.
Yeah,
Gosh,
absolutely.
you're not even human enough for me to want a competition against you. You're just AI to
Because if I think of them as people, I'm gonna get tilted with them. So just think of them as AI, so I don't get tilted.
Okay. Well, I guess that can be a solution to the tragic nature of tilt, especially in like GM Elo. GM's kind of like, oh my gosh, some of the most like toxic, like half the accounts are silenced.
It's a coin toss whether you want to be it's a coin toss where you're gonna get wholesome teammates or teammates who are like, don't worry, I peaked 4.6, but now I'm 4.2.
20 seasons later.
Yeah, 5 seasons later.
Oh no. Yeah, I think you get like a lot of people who can only play like one certain way, and they get to that like 4, 5, 4, 6 sort of peak on that like one hero or whatever. But then as soon as the meta changes, they can't do shit.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone like that.
That's
It's definitely not you.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Yeah.
That's just the comp experience. Ranked
Yeah.
is so different.
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
fun
Ranked,
sometimes,
it can be fun. It can be tragically disappointing and depressing, but either way,
Yeah.
same diff.
Yeah.
We don't play Overwatch. Like anyone who plays Overwatch just for fun is probably not going to have a very good
They
time.
probably haven't played the.
They probably haven't played it much.
They probably haven't played in months and are mentally ill. I'm not
Yeah.
going to lie.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. You don't play this game for fun. What is that?
That's what I'm wondering.
Nah.
What is fun? I've been playing Overwatch for 4 years.
Yeah, really.
Will your team be going into Open Division this coming season?
I'm not too sure.
Not sure.
If we might have to train a little bit more.
Yeah.
Some things we still definitely need some fine tuning on.
Mm-hmm.
But it really depends whether we're gonna go in or not, based on how our practices go.
Yeah, fair enough. Alrighty, well, thank you both for coming in and chatting to us. We're now going to continue interviewing Pachi from Apollo Esports. So we'll catch Saranghe and Reality next time, hopefully in the grand final, guys.
Yeah, I
Can't
just
wait.
want to interject really quickly because Apollo is one of my baby teams. I'm Leroy, in case you haven't heard my voice in a while. And Patchy, she's one of my best players, so treat her good. Bye, guys. GG, we go next to finals.
GG.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks so much.
You too. Thank you.
Alrighty, hi, Patchy. How are you going today?
I was doing better before the game, but I'm doing good.
Oh, very good. Yeah, obviously, that was a pretty sound victory by GG Go Next against you. But tell me, do you think you learnt a lot from this game?
Yeah, we learned a lot because it was a lot of us. It's like our first time actually going to PC. Console.
Oh yes, that's right. We were told that you're a console team. I did forget that. So that's actually very good to be playing actually quite so well at this sort of higher elo when mouse and keyboard isn't your default.
It's a struggle. We kind of got cocky a bit, and we really need to take it a bit more seriously because we've been skipping a lot on scrimmage recently.
Oh dear.
That'll always set you back just a little bit.
Yeah, so that does set you back a little. So are you going to be a bit more committed to scrims this coming week?
Probably a lot more, and we're still trying to find a coach because the team's decently new, so it's a bit of a but we're getting there.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Like, I think, just, even as a team, you can learn quite a lot together by looking over your VODs or comms or the stream or whatever. And, you know, just by sort of just going and sort of reviewing it, I'm sure you'll be able to learn quite a bit on what to do next time.
Yeah, we're probably all gonna VOD review like more than once this map, and as a team and individually.
Yep, that sounds like some pretty good initiative to take. And have you been main support in Overwatch your whole Overwatch career, I guess?
Yeah, I've been playing. I started as a Divisio one trick on console.
Yeah.
And then I played in a bunch of console tournaments as a main support, and I switched to
Mhm.
pretty recently.
What inspired the move from console to thing? Like, is that getting quieter now? Like, there's not so much teams, or you got a PC for, I don't know.
Well, the high level for console has gotten very boring. A lot of the high level players have switched to PC. So in console, we have a tournament called CGL, and the highest level of that is pretty much died out.
Yeah.
So it's the only logical way to go if you want to keep playing Overwatch.
Yep, of course. Yeah, well, good. Welcome to PC. Do you think, from your experience in comp, is PC more or less toxic than console
Well,
in range? Yeah.
there's a match chat on PC, so there's a lot more toxicity between other teams.
Yep.
But I haven't been flamed by my team as much.
Okay, so in console, there's less. So wait, in console, in your own team,
there's more toxicity between
more
between your own
in your own team. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no actual match chat or team chat.
So yeah, there's more. So it's more highly critical if you're like in team chat. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad you've come to PC then, because it might not hurt so much.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
Definitely for a great spectacle this evening. You played really well tonight on the support lineup, Pachi. It's just a matter of, I think for Apollo in particular, just really hammering out when, where to engage, the terms of those engagements. And, that's something that especially playing at the CeeLo, Pachi, you're bound to catch on to very, very quickly.
Yeah.
We have a lot to learn still, and I'm happy.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming. I believe now we have, who do we have here who has joined us?
Yo, what's up, gamers?
Lee Butter. Hey, Lee Butter.
Hey,
How
guys.
are you going today?
I'm doing great.
Whoa, what is going on with your mic, my man?
He's in a wind tunnel.
Sorry. Wait, let me turn it off.
Would that be how you got most shittiest player?
Okay. Turn it off. Sorry, what happened?
Were you so deafened by the fan in your background that you deserve the most shittiest player award?
Let's go.
He wears it proudly, a badge of honor.
What can I say?
Yeah.
I deserve it. Let's go.
Oh, why do you think you deserve the most shittiest player?
I mean, someone had to get. I really can't tell you. I think I don't know. What do you guys think? I want to hear what you guys think. You guys watched it.
I'm kind of curious if it has anything to do with you being a Junkrat main.
Whoa! Is there Junkrat slander going on right now?
There might possibly be.
There better not be any Junkrat slander going on right now.
Hey!
I'll stand for my man forever.
Don't blame us. Blame the stream. Blame them. Don't blame me.
If you flame my character, I want you to be on your ass, man.
So you in Discord, because you guys out there can't see it. Libata here, his actual Discord name is JR Main, Junkrat Main. So, what do you love about Junkrat so much?
I like his leg that's missing. He has no foot. It's kind of attractive. I like his tire. I like the damage he does.
All those ladies and gents out there with one leg and a peg. Just gents. All those gents out there with pegs. Hit JR Main up for a date.
Oh, yes, please.
Would be very interesting.
Only if you look like Junkrat. Only if you look like Junkrat.
So you got to be skinny and Australian too. Okay.
Or just Australian. Come on, guys.
Alrighty, well, you guys heard it here first. Now, look, a lot of people find Junkrat mains. To play Junkrat is a little bit cancerous, a little bit toxic. Do you identify with that cancerous toxicity at
I'm
all?
fine with being the source of the cancer.
Okay.
If that's what they know me as, because cancer brings death, correct? Yes.
Yes, yes.
And we won 3-0, right?
Yes, you
You
did.
sure did.
Okay. I don't hear an issue, right?
Yeah, so
He was born in the cancer, molded by it.
Correct.
I like it. I like that a lot. Yeah, well, look, I mean, I guess if you care at all about community opinion or social opinion, then feel free to mix it up, play more variety of heroes. But if
Are
you
you
don't
telling me to
give a
switch off
shit
of
and you
Junkrat?
just want to win, hey, I'm saying if you want those things in life, but look, if you just want to blow shit up and
Yes.
win,
Yes.
then keep doing what you're doing, man.
I will forever.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming. And guys, do not go away anywhere. We're going to be going now over to Hammer Down Esports, and we're going to watch the charity event for self-advocacy for autistic individuals, and that's ASAN, the charity. So we'll go and do this, so don't go anywhere.